four-wheeler up on blocks, level out the platform of the split fire. You always want to run as close to level as possible. Obviously when you're in the woods or in an area that's not perfect, then you've got to adapt so that you can get as level as possible. Hi, Chad here with Purple Collar Life. Exciting day today. You know, we've been waiting for a long time. We've got quite a stack of wood here to the side of me, and I've been researching log splitters for over a year. If you know anything about me, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know I do a ton of research before I buy something. I like to know everything there is to know about tractors, or in this case, a log splitter, before I buy it. And there's a lot of reasons that I chose the 2265 from Splitfire. Now, this is not a machine that got sent to our channel for free, not something that is a sponsored video or anything like that. This is a machine that we actually chose, and I'll tell you how it's configured, why I wanted these options, and the things I really liked about the Splitfire 2265 and why I thought it would be the perfect splitter for us. So we'll start right here at the front and we'll work our way back to the back. And I will point out the things that are options that we've added. So the first option that we added was the extension and drop hitch. So you can see if you had the regular hitch here, it would come out right here. That's pretty high for connecting to a four-wheeler, and it also puts you pretty close to the back end of the four-wheeler or tractor or whatever you're working with. So this 16-inch extension with the 4-inch drop kind of brings that hitch out and down a little bit better for connecting to the back of a side-by-side, a four-wheeler, or a tractor. So that was one of the things I really wanted to make sure I added. Right here is the kickstand, or the rest for it. Obviously right now it's up because I'm on the four-wheeler, but it's just a simple pull pin. I like that. It falls down easily. Put the pin back in place in the same exact location, whether it's up or down. Makes a really easy system.
That was something that you added or came with it?
This comes standard on every Splitfire. Something that I really liked about the Splitfire was all the engineering that went into it. Obviously there aren't that many brands that split forward and reverse. And in fact, Splitfire was the very first brand to do dual splitting or two splitting or whatever you want to call it when you're splitting forward and reverse. There's a lot of different terms for it. Some people call it twin split. But I like the forward and reverse ability because you're cutting your work in half. You're not waiting on that to back up and then forward and then up and forward. You're splitting on each stroke of the piston out and in. Really like that. Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw the Splitfire and I saw these plates that you're pushing against, I thought, well, that's a dumb system because you want a nice solid plate there. The wood's just going to go to the sides of it. But this is actually another piece of engineering that makes Splitfire different than the other manufacturers I've seen. There's actually an engineering benefit and a safety benefit to these wedge style blocks that you're pushing against. So when we first used this, I wanted to see how it worked, and it was actually pretty amazing. This is an 18-ton splitter, and that's all the power we'll ever need, and part of that is because of this design. So on a normal log splitter, this back plate, the press plate you're pressing against, is a flat piece. So when the blade starts pushing through here, these edges are pushing against that back plate, and it's actually binding, keeping this from opening up. Binding the blade inside there, it takes a lot more force for that blade to push through. One of the reasons that 18 tons is plenty for this is because when the blade comes in here, makes contact with the wood, as the wood starts to split, this design of the back plate allows the wood to open. So you're not fighting against yourself. You're not pinching that blade because your back plate's squeezing everything forward. In fact, this wedge design allows everything to open up, takes less force. So that's one of the things I really liked once I studied the engineering behind this. I'm super impressed with it. The logs do seem to split open much easier, and it makes total sense the more you think about it on like the Husky splitter we've used in the past, how much you're binding against yourself. Just think about even when you're cutting firewood, when you cut down through the log, if the pressure is pressing in on the chainsaw, it really binds up. So here we've eliminated that bind. Super happy with that, and I'm really impressed with the engineering behind it. The other thing this wedge does is makes it a little bit safer. Instead of there being all this surface area for someone's fingers possibly to get caught in, the majority of your log at the back here is open space. So while you don't want to ever put your hands back here, if you did accidentally get a finger back here, if this were a big plate, obviously you're pinched in there. With it just being this much surface area, there's much less chance of something getting pinched in that area. So also a safety feature as well as an engineering design. Another thing I really like about the split fire is the design of this piece of cutting material. So you'll see it's leveled. That makes it easier to cut because you're not cutting the cutting surface at the exact same point in the wood. It also adds to the safety because you're cutting not quite as far into the wood at the top as you are in the bottom. Again, keeps your fingers out of the way. You should always have your hands on the sides of the log, never the back or the top. But you know, as you're cutting wood, people get their hands in different places. So it's always good to have as many safety features as possible in a log splitter. So this plate on all four sides of the block, sliding up and back, is the lubrication. You don't ever add oil or any lubricant to this. Whereas on other splitters we've used, like the Husky, you're putting bar and chain oil onto a plate that slides on another plate to try to keep it from wearing. What that does, it does function as it should, but it accumulates a lot of stuff. You can see here, there's not any fluid up on here, no oil, nothing that's going to accumulate all that dust. So it's a lot easier to blow out and clean off. And then anything that does fall down inside here, I was worried about. But because all four sides of this box have that lubrication strip on it, it just pushes everything right out the end and out the front of the splitter. It's actually a pretty good, easy system to clean. You can blow that out with air, compressed air. Obviously always wearing eye protection and any other warnings that we should mention when we say use compressed air. So obviously something we added as an option that's not standard on the split fire, but available as an option on all the split fire machines, is this log lift. And I can say that that was one of the things that I was looking for in any splitter I bought from anybody, was going to be a log lift. That's what kind of ruled out the Champion, ruled out the Husky, ruled out the brands from Rural King, Tractor Supply. None of those ones had a log lift, and a log lift was the key thing that I was going to want. You can see the big cherry logs behind me. Those are things I'm going to lift up onto here. Much easier on my back, my legs, and my body to be able to put them on the log lift and lift them up with the hydraulic pressure. Control is very simple. That's something I wanted so that if Jennifer ever wants to operate it, it's easier for her, or Mackenzie also. There are basically two levers. This is forward and reverse on the cutting mechanism. You switch this lever, and that's raise and lower on the lift log, the log lift. So really easy, just two pieces to operate. You can see there's not a lot of extra hosing here. You go in and out of the pumps pretty quickly. You got your filter right here. This is your reservoir for the hydraulic oil. Everything's nice and compact. Try to keep it simple, keep it reliable. Here's your hoses, hydraulic lines to the cylinder. Cylinder is all protected inside this 6x6 tube. I like that. Obviously, I like that the instruction manual is right here. At any time, you can get in and see the instruction manual. And then maybe my favorite feature, favorite upgrade, this typically comes with the Kohler engine. I've had some issues with Kohler engines in the past. I like the reliability of the Honda. This is the Honda GX200 engine. So far, it started first pull, every pull. Really easy to use. It should be reliable for many years to come. So that's why I went with a little bit of an upgrade. So the base machine, if you were to buy this with none of the options that we ordered, it's about $2,600 today. With all the options we ordered, and we added quite a few things. We added the extended tongue, the log lift, the Honda engine. Another thing I forgot to mention, we added the 8-inch 4-bolt wheels. Typically, most log splitters, not only from Split Fire in this size, but anything you get at Rural King, Tractor Supply, they're just a center hub wheel. You can see we've got the 4 bolts on here. This is fine for up and down rural roads. Obviously still not appropriate for highway speeds, but much more reliable with that type of hub system than with just a standard center spindle hub. So that was an upgrade. All those upgrades added $1,000 to this, $3,600, as you see it right here with the Honda engine, the log lift, the extension, the special hubs. You can see we're quite a ways backed up here, waiting on a splitter a long time, so we've got a lot to do here. We've been busy with a lot of other projects this summer. You saw we bought that property with the house on it. We've been taking care of all the mowing at the cemetery, our house. We've done some traveling, so now it's catch-up time. We're going to catch up on getting all these split. We should have a lot of wood for winter time. Now, the cherry won't be appropriate for this winter. It's got to season out, but splitting it makes it season faster. So we'll get this split up. I'll do a couple pieces just today to demonstrate. I did a previous video about current demand for log splitters and lead time. That was another advantage to split fire. This was not a waiting until 2022 or the middle of 2022. Normal lead time for split fire on a 2265 is about 6 weeks. Right now they're at 10 weeks. So yes, they are affected by the shortages of material and parts just like everyone else, but they have sourced their parts primarily from North America. Now the Cherry, I'm going to put on one piece at a time because it is really heavy. The maximum lift capacity of the log lift is 250 pounds. I don't think we're anywhere near 250 pounds with each one of these logs, but they are big enough that I'll just do one at a time. That's still green, still wet, so it's heavy enough that we'll be careful when we cut it, but I think you'll see a couple advantages of having all this table space as we're working on such a big piece. And since we're still in the break-in period, we won't be running this at full throttle. We'll be at about half throttle, so keep that in mind as we're processing. That was really impressive. Those were some big Cherry pieces. Cut through a couple knots, no problem from the machine. Made quick work of those two huge rounds, not only lifting them up, but splitting them up. So couldn't be more happy with my purchase of the Split Fire 2265.
Did you say about what you added to it? Did you already say what you added? Oh, you did? I missed that. I must have spaced out.
Stuff that we added to the machine because Jennifer missed it. Maybe you missed it too. We added the extended tongue.
No, the thing you put on yourself that you wished it had.
Oh, okay.
See, I wasn't spaced out.
Okay. I added an hour meter to this machine. One of the things that I like to do is maintain my pieces of equipment and keep track of the hours that I put on something. The Split Fire 2265 does not come with an hour meter. That's one thing that I wish that all log splitters came with. This one did not come with it. So I ordered one off of Amazon. I'll put the link down below. It was inexpensive. I think it was $7 or $8. I actually bought two of them, one for the snow blower and one for the log splitter. Installed it in less than 10 minutes. Just a little wire here around the spark plug wire down to an hour meter on the back of the machine. Super easy to do, and I highly recommend everyone do that to anything they're operating that requires normal maintenance, like oil change, hydraulic fluid change, filter changes. Just an idea to keep track of the hours you put on a machine.
And that way I know how to charge by the hour.
Right, yeah. Yep. Like I said in the beginning, I did a lot of research on log splitters for over a year before I made the decision to get the Splitfire 2265. And some of the things that I thought that I would like about it, I was absolutely right. Love the Honda engine, love the dual split technology, love the log lift.
They're probably hungry.
They're like, we haven't heard you guys working back here for weeks, months.
Hey guys, do you need some corn? Hey, just give us some.
So the deer are coming in behind us. We better wrap this up. They're getting ready to have some salt block here. But we did a lot of research on this for over a year. I did a lot of research, watched a ton of YouTube videos. OGA Outdoors, Ben, thank you for all the information on the 2265. Kyle at Splitfire. I must have asked him a ton of questions, and he would always respond and give me the answers. He was super patient with me. I appreciate that. So I did a lot of reading, a lot of watching videos, and a lot of thought on what features and what machine I would want. What else do you think?
I think you seem happy so far that looking up online and researching and everything you saw, that so far it seems to be what you thought it was going to be. And I mean, it's early into using it, but I think you'll be able to give a more complete overview as we work to split all of this.
Yeah.
I definitely know that even though we haven't been cutting a whole lot of wood this summer, last year and last fall we split a lot of wood, and you know, I didn't want to be in charge of the operations part of it, so my job was getting the logs to him and trying to balance it. And so far, I mean, I didn't have to lift any logs at all today, so yeah. I think that the addition of this piece, I bet, is probably going to be worth the extra.
Yeah. And one of the things that I was really impressed with this machine is the weight. You know, I don't like lugging around big, huge things. And this is 300 pounds, easy enough for me to grab the grab handle here, twist it around, move it around, and hook it up. If this were 600 pounds, 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds, much more difficult to move around a property like ours where the ground isn't all smooth and you're moving it from one place to another pretty often. So glad that it's a lightweight machine that's still heavy duty.
And I'm excited that it seems like it's physically going to be so much easier on our bodies. I'm really glad that, you know, Chad's mom and dad are our neighbors through the woods, and they burn a lot of wood throughout the year, way more wood than we do. And so I'm excited to be able to take this over to them, because I think it's going to really save your mom and dad a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is a game changer, a log lift. And that's one of the things you can't get on those machines from the box stores.
Oh, even I wore my work boots, because typically when you're working and I'm holding a big piece, a lot of times it ends up falling on my feet. So
yep. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again the next time. Click that like button down below. We'd really appreciate it. Share with your friends. Share with anybody who's shopping for a log splitter right now. I think the more research you can do, the better to make the right decision for your needs. We'll see you again the next time.
Better get the deer fed.
You better get these deer fed. It's not currently hunting season. It's legal in Pennsylvania right now to feed corn and salt. But once hunting season starts, nope, no baiting.
Although this is still, I call it their safe haven. I tell them, you're safe here. Huh, guys?